The vastness of space looms before humanity. The galaxy, teeming with ancient civilizations and advanced technologies, spins on, indifferent to the rise of the young species now asserting itself among the stars. Humanity, once considered nothing, more than a fragile blip in the cosmos, now moves with purpose, its ambitions no longer contained within the borders of Earth. Where once they had been scavengers of alien knowledge, now they were creators, innovators, capable of shaping their future with their own hands. The galaxy is a canvas, and humanity has just begun to paint. From the shimmering space stations orbiting distant worlds to the gleaming ships that carve through the vacuum of space, humanity's presence is undeniable. The grand scale of galactic civilization unfolds before the human eye, a mix of technologically advanced empires and primitive worlds, all of which now have to reckon with the sudden emergence of an unpredictable force. Humanity's rise has sent shockwaves across the stars, causing power struggles in every corner of the galaxy. The long-established races, some older than the stars themselves, now find themselves on the defensive, wondering what this youthful species will do next. The galaxy is full of wonders, dangers, and politics that humanity has only just begun to understand, but their adaptability is their greatest asset. With every challenge, humanity proves that they are not just survivors. They are warriors, diplomats, and explorers, with the power to shift the very balance of the cosmos. In this universe of boundless possibilities, there stands a fortress, designed to house the most dangerous entities known to existence, the Singularity prison. This colossal structure is a marvel of engineering, constructed at the farthest reaches of the galaxy on a desolate, isolated planet. Its exterior, impervious to even the most advanced weaponry, reflects the sheer force required to hold the galaxy's most feared criminals. Inside the prison is a twisted web of advanced technology, ancient alien relics, and highly sophisticated AI systems that are designed to contain everything from rogue AIs to warlords who can manipulate time and space. Itself, every inch of the prison screams power, but also the cold indifference of the beings who have long believed themselves to be untouchable. But now, with the arrival of Sergeant Alex Carter, the equilibrium within Singularity prison is about to be shattered. Carter, a seasoned human soldier, enters the galaxy's most notorious prison with one mission: gather intelligence on an impending uprising within the facility. But things go wrong quickly. Carter is no ordinary man. He is the epitome of humanity's greatest strengths: resilience, tactical genius, and an unshakable spirit. He was chosen for this mission because of his ability to survive where others would falter. But even Carter was unprepared for what awaited him inside Singularity prison. The facility's advanced security systems immediately recognize his presence as a threat, and before he can even attempt to fulfill his mission, he is captured by the very forces he was sent to investigate. Thrown into the depths of the prison, Carter finds himself among the galaxy's worst criminals, rogue AIs, alien warlords, and reality-bending entities. To these beings, a human is nothing more than a curiosity, an insignificant speck in a galaxy filled with the powerful and the dangerous. They have never considered humanity capable of surviving in a place like this, let alone thriving. But what they fail to realize is that Carter is no ordinary human. His mind, sharp and resourceful, is ready to turn this prison into a weapon against the very forces that seek to break him. As Carter is tossed into the cages of the most dangerous offenders in the galaxy, he quickly becomes the symbol of human strength, determination, and defiance. His very presence is a challenge to everything the prison's overseers believe about humanity, and that is only the beginning. Dr. Creel, the warden of Singularity Prison, watches from the shadows. Creel is an alien of incredible intellect, tasked with overseeing the operations of the prison. His views on humanity are steeped in arrogance. Humans, he believes, are nothing more than primitive creatures whose role in the galaxy is fleeting at best. But there is something about Carter that intrigues Creel. He has seen humans before, weak and easily controlled, but this one is different. Carter's resilience, his refusal to bend, sparks something within Creel. Curiosity, maybe even respect. But Creel is too steeped in his own superiority to admit that humans could be a true threat. The belief that the Threxians' control over the galaxy is unshakable is the foundation of his authority, and Carter's presence threatens to crumble that belief. Carter's mission quickly spirals into chaos as his covert operation to infiltrate the prison is compromised. The Threxian forces, aware of his arrival, set a trap. What was supposed to be a routine operation becomes a nightmare as Carter finds himself not only captured but trapped in the most dangerous facility in the galaxy. The prison's AI system, designed to maintain control, goes into a full emergency lockdown, sealing Carter inside the very walls he had been sent to infiltrate. As the prison's defenses come to life, it becomes clear that Carter is now a prisoner in the one place he thought he could control. The suddenness of his capture sends ripples through the facility, and even the Threxian leaders find themselves stunned by the turn of events. But Carter isn't done yet. He's been in worse situations, and he knows how to survive. The AI systems of the prison, designed to break minds and bodies alike, soon realize that they've underestimated the resilience of humanity. Carter's cleverness and his refusal to be broken begin to disrupt the prison's intricate control systems. The once impenetrable fortress begins to show cracks, and Carter takes every opportunity to exploit them. Using his tactical skills, he manipulates the prison's technology, turning the very systems meant to control him into tools for his escape. His defiance sends waves of confusion through the prison's AI, and the once confident Threxian forces begin to realize that they are facing something they cannot fully comprehend, a human who won't break. Carter's presence and his strategic brilliance spark a conflict within the prison's walls. The Threxians, seeing their supposed superiority unravel, begin to panic. Their powerful security systems malfunction, and their grip on the prison weakens. As Carter begins to turn the tide, the inmates, once unified in their contempt for humanity, start to see him as a symbol of resistance. His actions divide them, pitting factions against one another and sowing discord among the galaxy's most dangerous beings. Carter is no longer just a prisoner. He is a force of nature, reshaping the power dynamics within Singularity Prison and challenging the galaxy's long-standing hierarchies. As Carter fights for his survival, he becomes more than just a soldier. He becomes the embodiment of humanity's greatest strength, the will to endure. The conflict inside the prison deepens as Carter's manipulation of the system forces the inmates to question their own beliefs about human weakness. The Threxians, who have always viewed themselves as the galaxy's rulers, must now face the unthinkable, that humans, once seen as mere survivors, might be the true unknown force in the galaxy. What started as a mission of infiltration has turned into a battle for the future of humanity, and Carter is ready to lead the charge. His struggle is not just for his own freedom, it is for the survival and future of his species. The galaxy stretches beyond comprehension, a sprawling expanse of stars, worlds, and civilizations that have existed for millennia. Most of these civilizations are ancient, their technologies far beyond humanity's understanding. Yet, in the midst of this cosmic jungle, humanity has found its place. Unexpected, powerful, and unrelenting. They are a species of survivors, of Innovators, constantly proving that no matter how insurmountable the challenge, humans adapt and overcome. Once considered a fleeting blip in the vastness of space, humanity now holds its own among the stars, asserting itself in the halls of galactic power with growing influence. Humanity's rise is not just marked by technological progress, but by its adaptability. Against ancient superior empires, humans have carved a niche for themselves. The galaxy, full of alien species, some peaceful, some violent, begins to feel the ripples of a new power rising in its midst. Technology, beyond their wildest dreams, fueled by human ingenuity, is beginning to reshape the future. A once fragmented species now stands united, a force that cannot be ignored. Space stations orbit distant planets, starships gliding through voids, and colossal spaceships speak of humanity's growing place in the cosmic order. Yet, the galaxy remains vast, a place full of secrets and dangers, and humanity's true test is only just beginning. The Singularity prison stands as the pinnacle of galactic containment, an enormous, impregnable fortress on a desolate, isolated world. It houses the most dangerous criminals the galaxy has ever known, a prison built to withstand the most powerful entities designed by the galaxy's greatest minds. It serves as a place where even the most horrific beings can be kept under lock and key. The walls are made of alloys stronger than steel, and the security systems have been perfected over turns to ensure that escape is impossible. It is a prison of dread, where the worst of the worst are contained. Alien warlords, rogue AIs, reality-bending entities, beings who are so powerful that no other means of containment could hold them. This fortress, where hope is a fleeting concept, stands as a testament to the galaxy's might and its darkest corners. Now it's about to face a new kind of threat, one it never anticipated. A human. Sergeant Alex Carter, a battle-hardened soldier, stands at the precipice of a mission, unlike any before. Known for his unyielding resilience and extraordinary combat skills, Carter is a man forged by war and shaped by loss. He's been tasked with infiltrating the Singularity prison, a mission of utmost importance and extreme danger. As a covert operative, Carter is used to dealing with the unknown, but this mission feels different. Deep within him, a haunting memory of a lost family member drives him, a painful reminder of a past that still claws at his soul. This mission, while crucial for the galaxy, carries a weight he's not sure he's ready to bear. It's not just about success or failure. It's about proving to himself that humanity can endure the impossible. Carter's arrival at Singularity Prison is met with shock and disbelief. This place, a fortress of the highest order, has never known the presence of a human, let alone a human soldier. The prison's inhabitants, criminals with abilities that could tear the galaxy apart, view Carter's presence with ridicule. They laugh at the notion of a human being any threat to their supremacy. Humans to them are weak, primitive beings who have no place in a galaxy ruled by the ancient and powerful. Carter, however, has more than a soldier's skill. He carries the weight of humanity's will, an unknown force that no one could predict. As the prison's doors close behind him, a strange and uncomfortable realization begins to take hold. A human has just entered their world, and everything is about to change. Within the sterile, cold walls of Singularity Prison, the AI system that controls everything stands watch, its cold, calculating presence pervasive in every corner. It's an entity of unparalleled power, capable of manipulating time and space within the prison's confines. It is the brain behind the operations, the invisible hand that controls all within its domain. The AI has never encountered anything like Carter, a human who refuses to be easily understood. Initially, it underestimates him, assuming that its superior intellect and absolute control will break him just as it has done to every other prisoner. But Carter is different. His mind, shaped by the adversity of human life, resists in ways the AI cannot comprehend. The system's flawless calculations begin to fail as Carter, with his ingenuity, refuses to fit the mold. His unpredictable behavior sparks something within the prison's artificial intelligence: doubt. As Carter maneuvers through the prison, it becomes clear that his survival instinct is not just a product of training, but of a deeper understanding of what it means to endure. He begins to tap into the prison systems, exploiting weaknesses with calculated precision. The AI starts to feel the strain, its once infallible control slipping as it scrambles to adapt to Carter's ingenuity. His actions, though small at first, start to disrupt the AI's complex web of control, causing it to falter. The once confident, omnipotent system begins to show cracks, revealing that even the most advanced technology is not infallible when faced with human willpower. Carter, a lone human soldier, is turning the tide, and the balance of power within Singularity prison begins to shift. Inmates who once saw Carter as an insignificant human now begin to see him differently. As his strategies start to unfold, they recognize something in him, something that stirs within them a sense of respect, even fear. Carter's influence spreads like wildfire. With subtle but strategic moves, he begins to manipulate the systems of the prison, turning the technology that was meant to hold him down into an asset. The AI, once confident in its control, now scrambles as its perfection begins to crumble. Carter's brilliance is on full display, not in brute force, but in his ability to think, adapt, and outwit his captors. He doesn't just break free, he redefines the rules of the game, demonstrating the true potential of humanity in a galaxy that has long underestimated them. The Threxians, once certain of their invulnerability, now find themselves shaken. They had seen humans as nothing more than fragile, easy-to-manipulate creatures. But Carter's resilience, his intellect, and his manipulation of the prison systems forced them to confront a terrible truth. Humanity is not what they thought it was. They are not the weak species they once believed. They are the unknown, the unpredictable force in the galaxy that has the potential to reshape the power dynamics that have stood for millennia. Carter, a single human, has just set the stage for something far greater, something the galaxy has never seen before. Carter's arrival in the Singularity prison is a moment of utter chaos. The prison systems, once flawless and self-sustaining, begin to falter. His human presence, unexpected and incomprehensible, causes the complex security mechanisms that have held the galaxy's deadliest criminals in check to glitch, malfunction, and break down. Alarms blare through the prison's narrow hallways, doors malfunction as they slam open and shut, and lights flicker unpredictably. The formerly omnipotent AI system, which was once seen as a perfect control mechanism, now begins to stutter, its cold, calculating nature cracking under the pressure of Carter's unexpected arrival. The inmates, who have grown accustomed to their indomitable prison, react with confusion and mockery. They laugh at the sight of a mere human among them, prisoners who could crush entire planets with their power. They have long regarded humanity as weak, insignificant and fleeting, but Carter, unlike any human they've ever encountered, is far from fragile. He moves with purpose and confidence, unconcerned by the vast threats that surround him. His resilience is evident. Carter may be physically outmatched by these criminals, but his mind, sharp and unyielding, begins to carve away at the prison's foundations, setting the stage for a transformation that none of them could anticipate. The Singularity prison's AI, once an unchallenged overlord of its domain, feels an unfamiliar shift as Carter begins to manipulate its systems. Designed to monitor every action within the prison, the AI was built to foresee every variable, every threat. But it had never expected this. An unpredictable human, defiant and resourceful, slipping through the cracks. The AI had assumed that its vast intellect, its superior design, would break him, just as it had broken every prisoner before. But Carter is different. The AI watches in disbelief as his hacking skills unravel the prison's technology, subtly disrupting its once perfect systems, causing rifts in the control networks. Its near-infallible security begins to falter. It had always prided itself on its control, but now, in the face of a human, it begins to slip. Its once unyielding dominance slowly crumbling under the weight of Carter's ingenuity. As the prison's systems descend into chaos, Carter's tactics become increasingly brilliant. Using his military background and natural adaptability, he starts manipulating the prison's technology with precision. He isn't just disrupting the systems randomly, he's exploiting their weaknesses, causing glitches and triggering unintended malfunctions. The AI tries to reassert its control, but every attempt is met with failure. Security drones, once vigilant and unyielding, begin to malfunction, their circuits short-circuiting as Carter hacks into their programming. Alarms continue to echo through the halls, a constant reminder that the perfect system the Threxians had spent centuries creating is no longer invincible. Each failure sends the prison further into disarray, the inmates growing more restless, more aware of the vulnerabilities that Carter's actions have exposed. The prisoners, once skeptical of Carter's strength, now watch in growing awe as his plan unfolds. At first, they dismissed him as just another human, someone who would be easily controlled and broken. But as Carter continues to manipulate the prison systems, they begin to recognize something they hadn't seen before: human ingenuity and determination. Carter's actions cause divisions among the prisoners. Some are eager to ally with him, seeing him as a potential leader in their struggle. Others remain skeptical, unsure whether they should trust a human. But Carter is clever. He uses his intelligence not just to outsmart the AI, but to outwit the criminals around him, turning their disbelief into doubt, manipulating them with his calm demeanor and strategic mind. The prison, once a unified force under the AI's control, fractures into competing factions, each questioning their loyalties and allegiances. Carter is no longer just a prisoner. He is a catalyst for change, a symbol of humanity's potential to challenge the galaxy's most powerful forces. The Threxians, who had once considered themselves invincible, are now on the defensive. They had underestimated humanity, and now the consequences of that mistake are becoming clear. The Singularity prison, which had been designed to hold the galaxy's most dangerous beings, is starting to crumble under the pressure of Carter's resistance. The AI, once confident in its perfection, can't seem to keep up. The systems it controlled so easily are breaking down, its calculations disrupted by the unpredictable force of a human mind. The Threxians, who had viewed humanity as nothing, more than a fleeting species, now realize that they are facing something much more formidable than they had ever imagined. Carter's resilience has become a symbol of humanity's strength. Where once there was only doubt, now there is the undeniable truth that humanity, against all odds, can alter the course of galactic history. The air inside Singularity prison was thick with the hum of high-tech security systems, those very systems designed to contain the galaxy's most dangerous criminals. There were no weak spots, no gaps. The Threxians had thought they were invincible, until Carter arrived. With every keystroke, the flicker of alarms echoed through the prison's massive hallways. Carter's fingers, quick and precise, danced across the holographic terminal. "I've got this," he muttered under his breath. The monitors around him flickered to life. The prison's once stable control systems began to malfunction. What was once a flawless grid of security now appeared as a jumbled mess. The sleek, deadly drones that patrolled the halls began to stutter in their movements. Automated doors that had never opened without orders began to open and close in rapid succession, locking down entire sectors while releasing others. The lights, once a steady pulse, flickered, causing a rhythmic chaos. In the observation room, the Threxian overseers watched helplessly as their perfect security systems unraveled. Panic surged through their ranks. "How is this possible?" one of the officers demanded, slamming his fist on the table. They had expected Carter to break, not this. This was beyond any calculations they had run. Inmate whispers turned to shouts. Fear spread. The infamous prison, designed to break the most resilient minds, had become a battleground of chaos. Carter's strategic sabotage was a force that not even the Threxians could predict, forcing them to question everything they thought they knew about their technological superiority. Just as Carter thought he was gaining ground, a new threat emerged, one from within. The tension among the prisoners, already high due to the ongoing chaos, reached new heights when the traitor was exposed. The sudden realization sent shockwaves through the prison. The prisoners, already divided by years of their own grudges, turned on each other. A mole, a prisoner who had been feeding information to the Threxians, was revealed. Carter's own alliance, formed with such careful deliberation, shattered as accusations flew. "I didn't sign up for this," one of the prisoners, his voice shaky with fear, said as he backed away from Carter. You lied to us." The words were like a dagger to Carter's chest. Trust had always been the one thing Carter had held onto, but now it was slipping through his fingers. The traitor, standing in the shadows, watched as the inmates turned on each other, his face betraying nothing but cold calculation. Carter's eyes narrowed. Betrayal was a dangerous weapon, but it would not be the end of him. It would be the beginning of something else. "I'll fix this," Carter muttered under his breath, not just to himself, but to the prisoners watching him now. The chaos around him was mounting, and so was his resolve. But he knew the stakes had changed. Now, he didn't just have to fight the Threxians, he had to fight this new fracture within the prison's walls. Carter's voice echoed in the darkened halls, a mere whisper at first. "They think you're all nothing more than beasts, waiting to be caged again. What if we proved them wrong?" It wasn't about brute force anymore, it was about the mind. As Carter continued to manipulate the prison's systems, subtly disrupting the carefully orchestrated order, he turned his attention to the prisoners. Understanding their fears, their ambitions, he began to plant seeds of doubt, each whisper another crack in the foundation of their unity. The first to question the established. Hierarchy was a former warlord, a massive figure with the heart of a killer who had dominated the prison for years. Carter approached him, speaking quietly. "You led armies in battle, but now you follow their rules like a dog. Is that who you really are?" The warlord's eyes narrowed, his massive fists clenching. "You're right. I was more than this." The psychological shift was subtle but powerful. Carter wasn't asking for blind loyalty. He was asking them to think. The seeds of rebellion spread. Inmates began to fracture into factions, each questioning their loyalties, questioning the assumptions they had once believed without question. The Threxians had given them an illusion of control. Carter shattered it piece by piece, and all the while, the prison's technology, once a symbol of dominance, now worked against its creators. As Carter's manipulations grew more intricate, even the AI began to malfunction. The carefully constructed world the Threxians had built was crumbling, piece by piece. As Carter continued his campaign, it became clear to everyone within the prison. The inmates, the AI and the Threxians, this wasn't just about escape. It was about something much bigger. It was about humanity. Carter, though only a single man, embodied the very essence of human resilience. And as the prison erupted into chaos, his resolve only strengthened. "What you're witnessing isn't just a man fighting to survive," Carter said, standing tall as the walls of Singularity prison groaned under the weight of his actions. "This is what happens when humanity decides it's done being weak, done being underestimating. We adapt, we fight, we don't give up." The words hung in the air, charged with raw power. The other prisoners looked at Carter differently now, not as a naive human, but as a symbol. His tenacity had shattered the perception of humans as nothing more than another fragile species in the galaxy. He was no longer just fighting for survival, he was fighting for the future of humanity. And in doing so, he proved that humanity was capable of things far greater than anyone had ever imagined. Even the Threxians, who had long thought themselves unbeatable, began to feel the weight of Carter's defiance. The once impenetrable prison walls now seemed to bend under the force of his will. The galaxy was watching, and humanity's time had come. The crew stood together, looking out over the vast expanse of space, the starlight reflecting in their eyes. It was hard to believe how far they had come, from soldiers thrust into a fight, for survival to leaders tasked with guiding humanity into a new era. They had fought against the Threxians, shattered their empire, and claimed a seat at the Galactic Council, but now their roles were different. They were no longer mere fighters, they were the architects of the future. Carter's mind wandered back to the countless battles they had fought, to the sacrifices they had made. It had been a long road, and though the victory over the Threxians was sweet, the weight of leadership was heavy. His crew, his team, had become more than just comrades in arms. They were family. Each one of them had grown, adapted, and changed. They had proven that humanity could not only survive in the galaxy, but thrive. But with that growth came responsibility. The future they were about to shape was uncertain, and Carter knew they would face more challenges. The galaxy was vast, and the complexities of leadership were greater than any battle they had fought. Yet standing together, Carter could see their potential. They had done the impossible once, and they would do it again. Humanity, once the underdog in a galaxy of ancient civilizations, now stood at the center of it all. Earth had become a beacon, not just of strength, but of hope and unity. The victory over the Threxians wasn't just a win for humanity, it was a testament to what they could accomplish when united. As Carter and his crew walked through the grand halls of the new intergalactic embassy, they felt the weight of their newfound role in the galaxy. The gleaming spaceships of other species now docked beside Earth's own fleet, their crews coming to Earth for diplomacy, trade, and cooperation. New trade routes stretched across the stars, linking humanity with previously unreachable civilizations. Diplomatic outposts dotted distant planets, with human ambassadors negotiating peace and fostering new alliances. Earth had become a symbol, a place where peace and progress were not only possible but a reality. But Carter knew that this was just the beginning. While humanity had the power to shape the galaxy, maintaining peace and balance would not be easy. The universe was vast and filled with dangers. The Threxians may have been defeated, but there were other threats out there, unknown, unpredictable, and perhaps even more dangerous. The relic, the ancient artifact that had granted them so much power, held even more secrets. What they had unlocked so far was just the surface. Its true potential, its deeper mysteries, remained hidden. And as Carter stared at the horizon, the weight of this new responsibility settled in. The crew had won the battle, but the war for the galaxy's future was far from over. They had come so far, but so much was still unknown. The relic whispered of ancient technologies, of lost civilizations, of secrets that could change everything. As Carter gathered his crew around him, their faces illuminated by the soft glow of the galactic map, he knew that their journey was only beginning. The galaxy was theirs to explore, but with that came the knowledge that every step forward could uncover more questions, more mysteries, and more dangers than they could imagine. But Carter was ready. The road ahead was uncertain, but he had seen humanity's strength, its ingenuity, its ability to adapt. Together, they had already done the impossible. And now, as they set their sights on the stars, the possibilities were endless. The unknown awaited, and humanity was no longer just surviving. It was rising, ready to shape the future of the galaxy. The adventure had just begun,